The European Commission has to strike a difficult balance between making its rules credible and making Portugal's already bad situation even worse. Diego Iscaro, IHS. While Portugal's business confidence rose slightly in July to hit its highest level since September last year. Why do you think the sector has been able to reach its current peak?
Well, if you look what happened to the economic sentiment indicator, it had fallen to a 9-month low in December last year. And last year confidence has been severely hit by political uncertainty resulting from the inconclusive general elections in October. And what we are seeing now is a return of the positive trend that we had seen before the elections. It's mainly as concerns regarding the government stability have eased quite considerably. What is surprising is that business confidence continued to improve in July, given a very uncertain external environment as a result of the Brexit vote in the UK, and also increasing concerns about the health of the Eurozone financial sector, and this includes Portuguese banks. But the July figures are in line with developments in other Eurozone countries. Today, for example, the European Commission show that the Eurozone economic sentiment also recovered slightly in July.
Okay, well, Italy's ongoing banking crisis has dominated much of the news concerning Europe's finances in recent weeks, though Portugal's situation is precariously fragile too. So what then is your assessment of the nation's economic state?
Well, if you look at the figures, the Portuguese economy is still growing, although the pace of expansion has moderated quite significantly in the second half of 2015, also as a result of the political uncertainty that halted the momentum in activity. However, this is not to say that there are many concerns about the outlook for the economy. Firstly, I think that the pace of structural reforms has slowed significantly since the new government took power in late 2015. Also, most people know about Portugal's high public debt to GDP ratio, which is the third highest in the Eurozone behind Greece and Italy. But private debt also remains extremely elevated, and this is likely to limit growth over the coming years.
And lastly, the European Commission opted in the end to take a lenient view regarding Spain and Portugal's missed budget deficit targets, with both countries avoiding what could have been a landmark penalty fee. To what extent, though, do you believe this to be a case of simply kicking the can down the road?
Yeah, that's a good question. The Commission really has to strike a difficult balance between, making sure its rules are credible, but also at the same time they don't want to make an already bad situation even worse. In our view, and given the uncertain environment and weak growth, finding Portugal at this stage wouldn't have been, positive development. And this is not to say that Portugal's fiscal problems are not there. We think it will be difficult for Portugal to reach its target of a fiscal deficit of 2.2% of GDP in 2016. And there also is a risk that the deficit may increase sharply this year if the state has to inject money into the Caixa General de Depósitos, which is the country's largest bank. It's a bank which is in dire need of fresh capital. Estimates show that the bank would need around 4 billion euros in new capital, and that accounts for 2% of Portugal's GDP. So the risk to the public finances is quite real, and also banks will continue to represent a risk to the government finances as long as their situation remains fragile.
Thank you, Diego. Be sure to check back with me, Sam Meredith, and the Dukascopy TV team for more updates throughout the week. See you next time.